Welcome back, friends. Lost Scarf here. Time for the vlog. And, you know, this is different without the sunglasses. I like to look as disheveled as possible for the vlog. I don't know why, I just do. And that's what I want to talk about today is, well, it'll lead into it is doing things that just don't work on YouTube. Like, you gotta look clean and nice. You just have to, and I just never do, which is why it doesn't work out. Okay, so I'm going to talk about two things today. One is, because it's been on my head for a little bit, YouTube stuff like the algorithm and where we didn't succeed and where things worked, where things didn't work for our career on YouTube. And then the other one is just the concept of time. So, yeah, like the second half is always like what? Weird philosophical crap, right? Okay, so first part, episode 19 of the Kirby podcast, the Kirby anime for the YouTube side of the podcast is out, so yay! I'm currently working on the second light novel, so that'll be coming out this month. I'm going to work on it and finish the script and record all the lines. Then I just have to edit it, so still got plenty of time to get it all done by this month. And then we'll hopefully get more of the anime episodes out on the YouTube side. And then for February, I haven't decided what I'm going to do for February, so I got to figure that out. Since it is a shorter month, you get less days to figure it out. That's it for that. Okay, so also the channel right now, the voice LP. The next one for the weekly is going to be Super Mario RPG, and eventually we'll get back to Layton and get back to on that course. Like Layton and Phoenix are the voice LPs we're doing till they're finished, and also RPGs, and we'll see what else. Like we're just going to keep doing this over the years. That's just how it is. But daily content is just not as much of a thing now because, well, I've said this before, we're older, we have jobs, we have other things we have to do, other obligations, and so this channel has become mostly a hobby, but I want most of my focus to be on the Kirby podcast. And the Kirby podcast, every episode is many hours of work. It really is. Holy crap. So, let's talk about YouTube. So, a lot of YouTubers are retiring, and the interesting thing is, not all of them are known who they are, but there are some that have been around for a long time. They've been able to make a living off of this, and they've been reflecting on YouTube's changes and the algorithm and how they chased it and what worked and what didn't work. So it's interesting hearing all the things they did and then be like, oh, okay, we did everything wrong. There was a point in the past when, this is also just interesting about YouTube. In the past, a long time ago, the people who were doing very well were animators. They were doing shorts. YouTube really liked short content. Like you could get a little like 1 minute video out. It had really cool animation. A lot of people clicked on it. A lot of people watched it. So a lot of people had ads coming at them. But then for some reason, YouTube's like, well, now you need to have 10 minutes. I think this is because of content farming and things like that, where they're like, well, we need to have more for that. And then so advertisers are like, okay, yeah. They had to do stuff with advertisers too. This is back when being able to skip just one ad was a thing, before it became 2 ads, and before it became, you had 15-second ads. And then now where if you skip the first ad, you still got to skip the second ad. There's a lot with animation, with advertising, it's just gone over time very annoyingly, what it's become. But to draw advertisers and to have more longer content, to have people stay on YouTube more, they pushed towards the 10 minutes. So they screwed over animators. And then, so animators left, and then TikTok became a thing. So then they're like, oh wait, shorts are a thing. And then animators came back. Same thing with the short sketch people. They did like little short ones, and then that worked out. And then they left because, well, YouTube didn't care for that anymore. And now it's a thing, and so now they're back. It's really silly. It's so silly. Like, I don't know, I haven't been keeping up with them to check if they're still around, but 5-second films probably would be amazing in this age, if they're still a thing. But I remember they were a thing long ago, and they stopped, obviously, or they had to make more compilations. Now, here's an interesting thing. From the successful YouTubers, they had multiple channels for everything, while we had one channel for everything. And it turns out this was the wrong way to go. So YouTube, with their algorithm, likes consistency. Like, a lot. They really like consistency. And we never were. Well, we were at one point. So we were doing Smite every day. Every single day we were doing Smite. There were similar lengths because matches are long. And then we would do like the one shots, which were like 10 minutes or an hour, like depending on the game and the Scarf plays. And so that made us inconsistent. So the algorithm likes to just recommend you when you are consistent. They're like, okay, you're this one thing, so we'll recommend you to all the people in this one thing, and branch out a little bit. And the branching out is like people who watch videos at this length, or people who watch things similar to this, or other people watch things like what things are these other things, so maybe they can branch in. But when you do everything, when you're doing one shots, when you're doing Scarf plays, when you're doing Smite, and you're doing a vlog, these are 4 different things. These are 4 different genres in YouTube. So the algorithm doesn't know what to do with you. So the algorithm's like, screw it, I'm not recommending you to anybody. So that sucks. That really sucks. And then the bell came in, and we never pushed the bell. So the bell was, which is stupid. The whole point of subscribing is you get your videos recommended. What the bell does is tell YouTube, like, yeah, keep recommending it, which is, I thought that's what subscribing is. But what YouTube does is, if you skip a single video, you stop getting recommended. You stop having a channel recommended to you. You skip even one video. This is how the algorithm works. That sucks, because obviously, if you're here for Smite, you're going to skip the Scarf plays, you're going to skip the one-shots, and then you don't see Smite videos for a while. Or you know Smite videos exist, so you go out and seek them out. This was something with some like ProZD, someone show. Like, I always liked his skits, but I didn't like any of his board game stuff. I didn't care about that. So I would skip the board game stuff, and he'd stop getting recommended to me. But I remembered him, so I would search him out and watch more of his skits. That's what I would do. But I did notice, like, yeah, I'm not getting recommended. I don't know what the algorithm is doing, but apparently now I know why. You skip a video, that's what happens. So you skip a vlog, then you stop getting recommended all the other things. Like, that is ridiculous. And that is why some of the big guys made multiple channels. So we should have had a vlog channel. We should have had a Smite channel. We should have had a RP channel. Not RP. A voice LP channel. Like, we should have been just different channels. We should have had like 4 or 5 channels. And eventually we did that kinda, where I think Jinx was realizing that at some point. That's why we made the Scarf Plays channel. And so then I started like, okay, I'll just do all the Scarf plays over there, but we still do the one-shots on the main channel. We got Smite going. And really, it should have been one-shots and one-shots research should have been on that Scarf plays channel, and it should have just been Smite on the main channel. And then eventually we had the podcast, and we kept everything on the podcast as the podcast. And I wanted to put all Kirby gameplay on the podcast, but Jinx was like, no, don't do that, and she was right, because that would have diluted the podcast. So the podcast is just the podcast. So that is just everything in that sphere, and everyone's watching everything there, so everyone is up to date on that, because there's only the podcast there. While here on the main channel, it's just vlogs and voice LPs. So that's still not helping, but I'm not gonna... It's too late now, we're not making separate channels at this point. This channel is what it is. Now, of course, if you're a big enough personality, like I said, like ProZD, someone show, even when you're not getting recommended, you know they make stuff, so you go search them out. That's the thing with us is, the channel could have worked if we were big enough that people would come to us anyway, even when the sub is not getting recommended. We didn't get to that size. We got a pretty good size to us, but once I abandoned Smite, that just killed it completely. And so I've always been doing the wrong thing for the algorithm, and doing the wrong thing against what YouTube wants, which is very frustrating. Like, YouTube now is actually anti-long form. They want short form again because of the shorts. And so I've been playing with that and dabbling with that, and it's been helping the side channel the podcast quite a bit. Side channel, just only thing that goes there now is Kirby gameplay. That's all that's going over there. And I'm not recommending any of that besides the podcast. I'm like, hey, if you want to go check it out, go over there. And that's just there as a helper to the podcast. It was like, hey, if you want to see the gameplay that was used for the podcast, go here. But I'm not really advertising it besides that. The main channel here, as always, it is a creative outlet. Voice LPing is what I am enjoying, so that's what we're doing. The vlogs are still a thing because it helps. Vlogs are basically therapy, helps me think about things, and getting things out is good. So the goal of the vlog is, for me personally, is like to get my thoughts out. And for you, it is, hopefully, it gets you to think about things And I think thinking's good. Always be thinking. Like, we go on autopilot too often, so I think thinking is good. That's why the vlogs go out. And also for updates. The voice LP is because that's creatively what I want to do. I want to improve on my voice and things like that. I don't stream as much these days anymore because, like, that, yeah, like, we never were able to chase stream because I wasn't able to I was able to do streaming every day, and I still could, but it's not consistent because of my rotating shifts. Like, I'm working all these different hours on all these different times. Now, I get hired because I'm trying to promote to supervisor, then my hours become normal, and then I could become a streamer if I wanted to. And I could look into that in the future if I get this promotion I'm going for right now. But streaming was never the goal. Being big at streaming is never the goal because streaming really is a 9 to 5. It really is a day job, and it's not no. I like doing streaming because I entertain people, get to see directly, but I also don't like playing the streaming game. I don't like playing any of that. This is what also hurts us, is because I don't like playing to other people's drums. I like us playing to our drum, and because of that, we've never really rode the waves as well as we could. We're always behind the ball, but it is fun eventually, like, trying to do things. The thing is, it is exhausting to chase the new trend over and over and over again, because sometimes you're going to chase the trend incorrectly, and also you're just fake as balls when you do that. And you can tell with people when they're being fake because they're just chasing a trend. And I'm not into that. There are people who they do get suckered in by that, and I'm sure there's something I've been suckered into. So to qualify that, but they do get suckered into just like, oh, this is the new trend, so they go into that and they just believe this is real. When it's just a person being very fake, and I don't like being fake. I really don't. I've been tempted to be fake when we were bigger, and I just did not want to do that, and that's why things went the way they did. Also, because of that temptation, I imploded. That was part of the implosion with Smite and everything. The pressure from that and things like that. We could have gotten probably to 100K as Smite people. Maybe even bigger. I don't know. Whatever the biggest Smite person is, put me at like half of that. That's probably how far we could have gotten. Or we'd be. I hear Smite's updating, so that's interesting. Like they're making Smite 2 or something, so that's cool. So yeah, we just didn't work out. Like, there's a guy I watch who has 12 channels. He has 12 channels. He treats it like a 9 to 5. He works 8-10 hours a day, and all he does is he's reading scripts and talking about things, and that's what he does. And he's got like a history channel. He has a paranormal channel, a true crime channel. He's got a business channel. He's got all these different channels. And what's happening is he hires all these editors and he hires all these script writers. He just hires all these different people to do all the parts, and he's just the actor. He's the face of his brand. And he's got all these channels doing all these things. And when a channel it runs out of steam, he just cuts it and tries to make a new channel. And it's very interesting that. And so he makes a good living. Like, he has a house, he has a family, he goes on trips, but he works it like a normal job. And that's very interesting that people are able to do that, where they're not making millions of dollars, but they're making a good living. And well, they are making a ton of money, but it's going to all these workers. Like, they're making a business out of YouTube, and that's very interesting. And yeah, that's just interesting I noticed. And there's like this is because it's weird. Like, he follows the trends, like what's popular right now, what videos can we do about it, what channel would work with that. Oh, this channel's not doing well anymore, we'll cut that. Like, they did like conspiracy for a while. And conspiracy, eventually they ran out of interesting conspiracies, and then they just lost steam, so they cut that one. They just put in like a law channel, and that did well for a while, and they lost steam, so they cut that. And they keep doing all these different channels. It's very interesting. It's fascinating to see that. And so they've been an interesting source of learning things that I've never learned about or never knew about, but also interesting insight into keeping your hand on the tail of the algorithm. It's very interesting. Let's talk about time now. So time is interesting in that it is painfully long and painfully short, and we don't know how much we got. Like, after this vlog, I could drop dead, and that really sucks. But we don't know how much we got. And the thing about that is, because we don't know how much we got, that means we should really care about it and utilize it and do what we want to do instead of wasting time on, like, say, dicking around on our phone, like on social media, things like that. I think there's positive social media because it gives you some connection. The problem is doing it too much. There's positives to just dicking around on your phone, but there's a point where you do it too much. Like I definitely dick around a couple hours on my phone, which is not helping productivity. But if that's what I want to do, that's what I don't want to do is also the thing, right? So I don't know. But there's the thing also is time feels painfully long at times. And that's why it feels like, well, I got to do I'm waiting for the next thing, so I'm just stick around my phone. And the thing is, you could be more productive about it. I have a Japanese language app on my phone, and I don't use it as much as I could because it would be good to actually learn Japanese because I still want to translate these damn mangas. What's wrong with me? But that's the thing is because subconsciously because I'm making things work, I don't want to do it, so I don't do it as much. But I really should learn Japanese. I've gotten further and I've understood more, which is great. But I'm far from very good at Japanese. I got to work on that. By the way, California city government jobs. If you're bilingual, you get paid like an extra 2.5%. So for me, that's like $100 a paycheck if I learn Japanese and become proficient in it. So that's a nice motivator there. So I should really work on that. Obviously, there's a lot of Mexicans here since I'm in San Diego, so they get that bonus. So nice for them because they're bilingual. And yeah, I guess I should have learned Spanish when I was a kid. Time is weird in that, let's say you just couldn't sleep last night or whatever night. You're laying in bed and it feels literally like eternity. You're laying there trying to sleep. You look at the clock. It's like 1:02 in the morning. You lay there. It feels like eternity. You look at the clock. It's 1:05. Time is weird. Time is incredibly weird. The way the mind perceives time is just so crazy. It really is. And that's when it just feels painfully long. Like, honestly, it's when you're waiting to do a thing, it feels painfully long. And I forget if this is ADHD or I think it's ADHD, where I got a thing in an hour. I could do other things before that, but then I end up just wasting time until I get to that thing. I do that a lot, and it's very frustrating. The thing is, like, I'm trying to schedule things in my life that way I do things be more productive, but because I'm like, oh, this is coming up, so then I just don't do anything until it comes up. So it's a double-edged sword. Very unfortunate. Yeah, time's just weird. Time is weird. Like, but for a kid, a month is eternity. And then as an adult, a month is just nothing. It just disappears so quickly. Again, with like being up late at night, not being able to sleep. You just lay there. It just feels like an eternity. And then 7 a.m. comes. And it feels like you're past that eternity point. And you're like, huh. It feels like it was just instant now. Because it's over. Very weird. Sleep is like that sometimes. I've only done this 2 or 3 times in my life. Head to pillow, immediately get up, and it's been 8 hours. That's only happened 2 or 3 times in my life. That's so freaking weird. Dreams. Like, we talked about dreams before. Dreams are weird when it comes to time. Last night, I had, I would say a 30-minute dream, and only an hour went by when I woke up. And then I had a dream that was going on for, at least 8 hours. I was basically on the Sky Titanic, and it was crashing. But because it's like a dirigible, it's slowly crashing. So I'm there from the start of it to the end of it, and it took 8 hours, and everyone's just preparing and trying to figure out what we're going to do when this thing crashes. I ended up just gently crashing so no one got hurt. But it was an interesting dream with just everyone panicking for a day and just trying to figure out what to do. I'm surprised I didn't wake up from all the panic. And that was 2 hours. What the hell? I talked about this before where I had the dream where I was 7 layers in. Where I don't even know how the hell that happened. Where I was 7 layers into dreams, where I was in a dream, 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 and in a dream. And I was stuck in there for weeks. Literal weeks in this dream state. And I kept waking up and finding myself still in a dream state, and it was very frustrating and scary. And when I finally got out, it was only 8 hours. I didn't sleep more than normal. So time is effing weird. Time is weird in your dreams. Time is weird as you're living it. Time is Time is just weird, and then you could just run out of it instantly. It's the craziest thing. It's a unknown hourglass. You don't know how much sand is coming down. It's crazy. Just thinking about that. I've got all this time in the world, and I have who knows how much of it. And I'm wasting it on my damn phone. I'm wasting it, not pursuing certain dreams. I'm wasting it not doing the things. But at the same time, you need to waste time too. There's times when your brain just needs to rest. Your body just needs to rest. You can't go on all cylinders at all times. You can't be The Rock. Only The Rock can be The Rock. Oh, another thing I wanted to say with the YouTube stuff is, there's a part of me that's for years wanted to do essay stuff. But again, I would have to make another channel. I would have to, there are things philosophically, like I talk about here, that I would like to expand on and talk on more. But they'd end up on the main channel, and that would just keep diluting the channel. And I don't know. At this point, we're at the mercy of the algorithm for whatever reason. And also, we're at the mercy of just whoever comes upon us. I don't know. I think when it comes to growth, the goal of growth is over at... The goal of growth, YouTube-wise, is over at the podcast. And the goal of growth as a creative person is here. Besides the podcast. Of course, I'm growing it with the podcast as well. And even though we didn't become something huge, we may still, who knows, but we didn't become something huge, we still gained a lot of skills. A lot of very fun skills, honestly. And I'm happy I got them. I'm happy I have these editing skills. Jinx is happy they got their editing skills. I'm happy I have some voice skills that I've developed over time. And things like that. I'm never going to regret this channel. Really won't. Now, if say there is an afterlife and they let you just know what could have been, they're like, yeah, if you just stuck with Smite for another month and then transitioned, it would have gone better. It's like, motherfucker, that feels regretful. I don't know. So that is it. One quick thing just mentioning regrets is there are people who are like, if you have regrets when you die, then you did something. And if you have no regrets when you die, then so if you have regrets when you die, then you did things. So you lived a life. There's that version. Another version is to live life with no regrets. So when you die, you have no regrets. And the idea there is, well, you tried everything. So they can be on the same side of the coin there, where you lived a life, and it's just how you see it, I guess. Regrets are, you regret you failed, or you regret... because the things, you can also be on the other side of that, where you have regrets because you didn't try to do anything. And you can have no regrets because you didn't do anything. So I think, yeah, sayings are cool until you actually spend some time on them. I don't know, live your life. That's the best way to go about it. Live your life. Be what you want to be. Do what you want to do. I do think sometimes we do need to put down our phones a little more. Especially because TikTok and YouTube have become very effective at just making you scroll up and up and up and up and up and up and watch the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I've had time go by because of that. And I'd really like to wrangle that better. That's it for the vlog. I think if nothing comes up, I think next week I'll talk about something that I've wanted to do an essay on out of curiosity. Just to have it out there, because I'm not going to do the video essay. I don't think I will. Because the things that are interesting in my mind, well, you've seen the vlogs all these years. I'm kind of insane. I don't think there's an audience for how insane I am. How weirdly boring and banal I can be, and how weirdly insane I can be at different times. I'm so inconsistent, it's why I don't work. I think that's the crux of it, is I'm not a consistent person. I am just weird, and I am nuts, but I'm also boringly so at times. And because of that, it's just a mess. And you can't really bottle that into something useful. Is the way I'm going to word that. There's probably a better way to word it, but I'm not going to think about it anymore. We've gone long enough. That is the vlog. I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's all about, it, having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. And boy, 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 boy. I look insane. I really do. That's why I do it. Boy, 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 boy. Boy, 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 boy. Boy, boy. Boy.